Mark Logan on GB News.
MP and now Labour member Mark Logan. And also with me to discuss other stuff, we'll be going through all of that. But what do you think, Mark Logan?
Well, I don't think it's all over quite yet. The Prime Minister, he has a massive mountain to climb, there's absolutely no doubt. But actually, I put it in perspective of 4 years ago, almost exactly to the week, we were going through all of this with Boris Johnson, something similar. I wrote a Times piece at the time, towards the end of the January in 2022, saying that we needed honest leadership. And I think what the key difference is between Boris at that stage and with Keir Starmer is I do genuinely believe Keir Starmer is a man with integrity. He has good values, where Boris didn't. Boris, I'll tell you what, 4 years ago, it was deeply frustrating at the time because Boris had many things about him in which he could reach out to the nation, etc. And he was a convivial guy to be one-on-one with and have a bit of crack, a bit of fun with and whatever else. But he wouldn't change.
Bit of a crack with.
Well, the Irish version of crack, which obviously means fun. C-R-A-I-C. He was someone who he had potential at the time 4 years ago, but he wouldn't change. The leper wouldn't change its spots. And I think when you look at Keir Starmer, you're talking about a completely different beast in this regard. So I don't think it's over yet, but he is in a very difficult situation. There are some good things coming out of the Parliamentary Labour Party this evening, of course, in the Palace of Westminster, where people were saying he was coming out fighting. He did seem prime ministerial. He seemed like he still had a fight in him. So we'll see how the Gorton by-election goes over the next few weeks and the local elections coming up to that, and see how much he can corral the team behind him.
What wasn't the problem? We knew what kind of an animal Boris was. Nobody knows what kind of animal Keir Starmer is at all. He said people are still saying it's not a case of if, it's when.
I don't think he was brave, actually, what he's done. The brave thing would have been to, in this point leading up to now, is to be lobbying the Prime Minister, day in, day out. He'll have his WhatsApp, he'll be able to meet him in person.
He did speak to him before.
But if he has these issues with the Prime Minister, he should be saying to the Prime Minister, what is the change? I noticed the poster they have up in Scotland for Labour is the change that Britain wants and needs. So if he really does want the Prime Minister to change, he should give him the benefit of the doubt. And that's what I'm saying tonight, Nana. These next couple of months, we have to give...
But he called him before he did it, so he didn't just do it.
Yeah,
he called him.
He called him, but essentially, he called him just to say, this is my decision and this is what I'm going to do.
Well, no, they had a conversation and Keir Starmer disagreed with his position, which is what he told us. And he then decided, well, he knows the Prime Minister disagrees. He didn't just do it and not tell him. He told him and then did it because maybe he was just too disgusted with it all. Even though he called Manson a friend, but he said it was in his capacity as US ambassador. Which
I think the timing of it was completely wrong and wrong-headed. And what we've seen today is very similar again. Go back to January 2022, whenever Christian Wickford, who was the MP in the constituency beside me in Bury South, when he crossed the floor in the House of Commons, at that point everyone thought, oh, this is going to be a great thing for the Labour Party at the time. But actually, it meant that there was this real sort of crowd round the Prime Minister back in January 2022. And I think the same thing has happened today. We've seen it not just with cabinet ministers, which you alluded to earlier, but across the party, the PLP itself. So there still is time, as I keep saying, the Prime Minister still has time, but he really needs to dig deep. He needs to answer, actually, what Jennifer was talking about earlier, is what's he in politics for? What's he doing it for? He has to actually
he's in
speak...
it because he's never lost a fight. He doesn't really care about why he's fighting.
Well, I'm glad he's a fighter. And I mean, there's one aspect, actually, I think we fail to see is that the Prime Minister has done really well on the international stage for the UK.
God,
he has been good in the international stage. I'm a China expert. And actually, the President of the United States is going to China in 2 months' time, hopefully to do the biggest deal that he can ever do. Yeah. So we don't listen to this. Do as I say, not as I do.
That's not what I meant.
Sorry.
The Prime Minister has done...
You've had enough time.
Please.
I guess I can understand why they may have done that, Mark.
I mean, I think, just going specifically, actually, to the footage in Saudi Arabia, I do think that the Prince of Wales, he's been a fantastic ambassador for the UK overseas. I know, Jennifer, we touched upon China earlier. I did have the joy about 10 years ago of welcoming, at that time, the Prince to Shanghai on a big visit. He paid 2 free days, and he was absolutely first class. But this whole shenanigans over Andrew, I mean, right when we go back to the BBC, the now infamous interview at the time, right up until today, it's absolutely despicable. We have to get to the bottom of it as soon as possible.
Yeah, well...